All right, welcome back to Meet the Candidate. I'm Jared Moore again, and if this set looks weird, the air conditioning at our studio blew up, so we had to shut. They had to shut the power down to fix it. So I've spent all day moving my equipment into my home studio. That being said, today's guest is going to be Julian Watson. He is running for the Tulsa District Seat B, and without any more further ado, Mr. Watson, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this office?
Oh, well, I have many reasons. Um, I should try to say, in a short way, my platform is wellness. So I really have a wealth of experience to build on that platform. And even from a council seat, I feel strongly and confident enough that I could implement, some of these things or a lot of them to help us as a team player. I know that at the end of the day, that's what I'll be. And I'm excited. I have a lot of ideas. I've always had grassroots in my blood. And you know what? First, I'm so nervous, so nervous and things. But I should say big ups, and I support Mvskoke Media. Keep up good work, to say the least. The things in life that help us, they're about a struggle to begin with. So, you guys work hard, been working hard. I've been a fan since I was a little kid. There's been times where, in a second, I would love to take the camera and just show you, some of the things that communities throughout the nation, throughout the U.S., indigenous communities have given me support. And, I know we have a lot of allies to help us. So as far as the team player goes and being part of a council, I have so many merits of honor within indigenous communities. But yeah, I would love to take, the camera and say, this is a meet and greet. So I would love to take a couple seconds to do that, just show you a few things.
Well, Julian, let's do the questions, and then at the end, I'll give you a second to say anything that you'd like to say that maybe we didn't cover, and also you can show everybody with the things that you want to show them. You're running. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As far as my background, what it has to do with being a council is, again, I bring a wealth of experience. My background is nonprofit organizations, and again, working nationwide with other organizations. One of the first nonprofits that I was involved with was out of Colorado, called Bands for Lands. Some of you might know me from doing artist things, music in the community. I've graced the cover of Mvskoke Nation News a handful of times, so thank you for that. And I'm pretty sure there was an article a couple months ago that was in Mvskoke Nation News. So big ups to Morgan Taylor out there hitting the streets, Mvskoke Media. But yeah, that article was about some grassroots things that I was doing in pertaining to the mascot issue, the miseducation of our children in the school systems. So I've been 30 years into that. Again, I have a daughter who's an at-large citizen, so I know what it is to be an at-large citizen. For even from a standpoint of missing home, I know what it's like to want to just, even if I wasn't here on the res, maybe I was in Chicago or something, and I was like, oh, I just had to get that out to make a connection to home. But as far as my daughter, being an at-large citizen, she lives up there in Cleveland, Ohio. And what just happened to the baseball team? They changed the mascot. Mm-hmm. So respect to them. Again, I've been doing things like that here on our res and nationwide, active. So I only, again, can share that wealth of experience and working with nonprofits. Again, with Bands for Lands, one of the things, our main objectives were helping the farmers when they have land taxes, property taxes. If they weren't able to, if they needed help, our bands, our musicians would get together and have a concert, a little mini Woodstock, if you will, and we would raise funds. And at the end of the day, we would help the farmers who we had the concert on. We would help them pay their taxes with the funds we raised. So, that's the type of direct action that we would do. And I got, a lot of stories from that, basically proof, and, I'm here as a part of my existence as being a human, but being a council member would just be an extension of that. I'm here to decolonize the world from the res, I think I'm the only unofficial, but more lean towards the official liaison of the res to the world, to Tulsa. I have, a few friends around the Tulsa area that have asked me in the past to be a liaison for non-native visitors, non-native artists, that were coming here. And I just, with all due respect, we're here on the res, and it really doesn't matter what shade you are. We're supposed to treat each other with respect and love. So that's what I'm about, and I totally can do that from a council seat representative. You know what I'm saying? Council seat. So
okay.
Yeah, welcome. Nice to meet y'all, and I bow to y'all. Say respect.
All right, we've got a question come into chat, and I want to remind the viewers too. If you have a question, just pop it into chat, and then we'll go through this question, and then I got some questions too to run through. But the first question we got out of chat is, any thoughts about how to improve help with dialysis patients within the nation?
Any thoughts? Oh, yeah. I think that, the other night in Mvskoke, there was a really good question that came about. And my answer would fit to this too. It's just one. But, I was told by an administrator, a Creek Nation administrator one time, that the Creek Nation owns over 400 vehicles, but they only use 200. And I thought, wow, that's a shame. Bless his heart, man. He didn't know what to do. But I do. And I'll tell you what I would do is to bring the dialysis to the people. Let's take 50 of those cars and auction them off into a community that needs them. You want to pay 25, I got 25 here, you got 35, 40, you got 50. So sell a car for $100 to a brother or sister that needs it. And then we recycle those funds to get a mobile dialysis machine, something mobile, and let it be a stretch. Let it be a stretch job. So when our patients need to get their dialysis done, and it's a bit of a dream, but if you never seen $1 million, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? Because we all know it does.
Right.
So let's make some of these extra vehicles, let's turn them into something that we need. We're mound people. Let's look at this from the perspective of clay and mold it to what people need, the patients need. We need to listen more than we need to act like we're going to do. So yeah, big respect for that question. I love that question. But yeah, I'm all about taking it to the people. I'm all about it, and I've done it before. Y'all was gonna get me going. Y'all was gonna get me.
Well,
but yeah, again, as an example of what I've done in the community as proof, went to again the same nonprofit, but we changed names to Tendicon. I went down to Osbrooks, local folks, man, car dealers. Went down there one year. We had just got a $10,000 grant from a donation. So we were thinking, what are we gonna do with it? And my friends in Colorado said, hey Julian, you're down there in Oklahoma. See if you can find us a box truck. I said, okay, cool. Went down to Osbrooks, found just through happenstance, found a box truck. The kind of box trucks that they're about 24 foot long. Well, we bought it. It was used. Still had some of the feed. It was an old feeder. Feed delivery truck, so there was still the corn and things that you would feed animals and horses. Well, we ended up turning that box truck into a mobile stage. The sides opened up, and you pulled out the stage, and that was a project. That was a dream. It started out as a dream, but we made it happen. And I actually brought that here to Oklahoma, and for a while, and used it. I showed it to G-Bong Gouge. I showed it to some of the folks at the time that were Mvskoke Media, and it just was like, whoop, it kind of went over their head because I said, look, this thing runs off of cooking oil. It was one of those biodiesel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, I could go on, but we did it. You know, we turned that truck into a mobile stage, and you could, and later on we sold it. But that truck, before we sold it, it probably did 3 tours nationwide, New York to LA, back and forth, everywhere in between. So I'm about taking to the people. You know what I'm saying? Definitely recycle, sustainable. You know, I'm all about the environment. Definitely, word.
Okay. Well, I have a question on my list, and I want to remind everybody in the chat. You can post your questions in the chat, and we'll ask the candidate. You're running in the Tulsa District against the incumbent, Lucian Tiger III. Could you kind of compare and contrast yourself with him? Like, what would you say to a citizen who is going to convince them to vote for you as opposed to the incumbent?
Well, if I may ask the folks and ask yourself, Jared, if I could just kiss everybody real quick. I can't do it virtually.
Right.
One of my good, she told me before all this started, she said, you know what, Julian, you're going to have to get out there and kiss some babies. And I got shy, you know, I was like, I was like, what? No, right. And you know who you are out there, so I thank you. But yeah, here you go, kiss for the babies. But I wanted to do that because I am nice. You know, a lot of these forums I go to, I've gotten real emotional. And, you know, it's, at the end of the day, it's love and concern. But I do want to blow kisses to everybody. Before I say it, I mean, with respect, you know, with my opponent, or LT, as some people call him, you know, I just, I see him. I mean, you know, let me do this too. I spoke with Lucian. We're not enemies. You know what I'm saying? It's just the things that he's done to our community. That's what's wrong. And that's why he needs to shoot. You know what I'm saying? We're cool. It ain't nothing personal, but it's just time for him to go on. He's done his thing. He's truly, I would say, you know, about self-gain. When the emoluments clause, when the emoluments are violated, it makes us all look bad. And that $25,000, oh yeah, somebody needs to pay that back. Oh yeah. So, you know, I'm willing to hold my folks' feet to the fire, you know, and again, if elected, when I'm elected, you know, I'm only going to ask that from my team. And if we ever have the time to sit down and talk about transparency, let's sit down because I got some things up my sleeve that would work. And I don't mean, and I'm using my hands. Some people get about that, but you know, that's in our blood. That's genes. Yeah. It's like,
I do the same thing. I do the same thing myself, is the gesticulating.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm going to try to get my point across, but I'm going to be speaking some broken English, some Creeklish in there somewhere. But yeah, you know, he just, with all due, you know, with respect, he's, again, when the emoluments are violated, we all look bad, even the kids. You know what I'm saying? If I may quote the Attorney General, Mr. Roger Wiley, you know, he said, pertaining to that issue, and he says, you know what? They're watching this. They are watching this, meaning, you know, the state, the government. He said, they're watching this. You know, when things like that are violated, they're watching it. We all look bad, even the children. So again, that's why he needs just, you know, he's saying he looks and sounds to be like a business shark. And cool, right on. But you know what? Go do that over there. Go do that somewhere else. Don't do it in our name. Don't do it in my name. Or you know, in a way that they're going to look at all the Mvskoke Nation, Mvskoke as I'm somebody who's going to violate women. I'm somebody, you know. That's what he does. You know, these are some of the things in the past. Mvskoke Nation, you guys are the ones who reported on it. So I'm going to be on. That's why LT don't want freedom of press. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's, and I appreciate this is your time as a candidate to give your opinion on the matter, and let's try.
Anyway, I'll stop.
No, no, that's fine. I was just gonna.
Things, so respect y'all.
Right. We'll move on to the next question. I want to remind the audience: anybody wants to post a question in the chat, go for it. What is your opinion on the Mvskoke Creek Nation's government's response to COVID? Is it not enough? Is it too much? Do you think there needs to be far, and where we need to go as far as COVID with government response?
C. All the above. Now, I mean, I was considered, let me just start from here.
Mm-hmm.
Considered an essential worker. So I've been down there, and it's scary. At that time, we didn't have a vaccine. Man, I was scared. I'm a PBX operator, so I'm answering the phones, and when I think about it, wow, because I really get to talk to the people.
Mm-hmm.
People call you. Our people call Okmulgee from London, from Guam, from LA, from New York. I mean, we're all over. We're the third or fourth largest tribe, but people call, man, and they have genuine concerns. So I get to talk to them for a minute, and because they say, man, I don't know who to talk to. You're gonna have to help me out, and I try to do my best and connect them. I can't make somebody on the other line or who they connect. I can't make them pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why people get upset. Excuse me. But I was down there, and we'll go down there. You know what I'm saying, working. I appreciate. I felt lucky that I had just at least had a job. But it was scary. I work in the South Combs building that was supposed to be locked up, but there were people still getting in there. So it was scary. We didn't have a vaccine, but again, people were still trying to get on our building, and I don't, we didn't know who was sick. So I'm not going to say that they didn't do enough, but here we are.
Well, if you're elected to council, is there legislation you would bring or anything? Like, how would you address that situation?
By just doing things. Again, taking it to the streets. I mean, I know and that was the main thing. Is why I can't say any of the efforts were shallow or not working, because nobody had a manual for this. Nobody does. And if I'm correct, I don't think there's any manuscripts out right now. So I'm not going to say not. Of course, what can be done is going to be appreciated. You can't. I'm just trying to say what was done and what we can do is not wrong. Shouldn't be looked at as it was a failure, because we're all trying to get through this. And from a council seat, I would have masked up, or because I enjoy wearing a mask overall. But I would have put on the hazmat suits, the cleaners, everything that we needed to gear up and go, to get back to community needs. Not saying that anybody's not doing that, but that's what I would do. I would actions speak louder than words, and I would try like heck. I still will try like heck to help people. I mean, and I say that, and I could go on again. When I was down there, I wanted to protect the elders. There's elder service that sits right from where I sit, and I remember asking some of the higher ups, what are we going to do? It's scary, so can our elders go home at least call it a day when somebody has heard, okay, well they went to the employee clinic and they tested positive for COVID. Well, yeah, let's shut down that part of the building or wherever they start cleaning up, but send everybody home. I mean, that was the case that happened, but there was only a few people sent home that day. And I'm in the building, breathing the same air. I'm in there, going to the same Chogaji. And so are the elders, And so when I asked, can the elders go home, at least let them go home because if somebody got sick, I couldn't get a straight answer. So, I mean, I'm scared. Everybody's scared, but, we just got to do things. And in this case, I just don't think we could do any wrong. Long as we're helping each other,
We've had a couple we've had a couple of questions pop up in the chat, and we're at 21 minutes right now, so I want to try to get these questions in. The first one is, do you support putting the contentious issues brought up during this campaign that would require a constitutional amendment to a vote of the people by the council action or by initiative petition? So let me read that again so I can try to get that right. Do you support putting the contentious issues brought up during this campaign that would require a constitutional amendment to a vote of the people by the council action or by initiative petition?
I mean, I'm definitely, I'm always going to lean more towards the people, all the time. I mean, that's why I'm running. So whatever contentious, I can't even say that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask the question.
Contentious issue would be, or depending on what it would be. I mean, but no, I mean, definitely.
Okay.
People.
It sounds like you're in support of it, and I would say to the commenter too. You know, if you want to rephrase that question and point out the exact issue that you're talking about, like what constitutional amendment are you speaking of specifically, and then we can ask that specific question. There's another question though before that. Are you knowledgeable about ICWA?
Just some of the basics, you know, that it's supposed to keep our children with our folks. That's what little I know, and you know we need to exercise that in every possible way.
Okay, I'm going to move on to one of my questions here. Is there any legislation that you already have ready or plans that you, if you get elected, that you're going to do first day?
First day. I mean, yeah, I think so. But I should say that, yeah, I'd be excited. But I've also heard the stories from different previous and former council members, male and female, that they said that they were told, oh, you know what, you're a newbie, and so for a year, why don't you just sit back? Why don't you sit back and watch to see how it's done kind of attitude. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no. I ain't gonna do that. So as far as legislation goes, I mean, I got some things, but get me in the seat first. Because, okay. Yeah, I do. But I mean, if you want an example, yeah, here's one. I would implement, and just to reiterate on some of the last question, I would implement, and I'm starting to do it now. Actually, we tried to get it off the ground in Mvskoke. I turned right around and said, Mr. Jennings, can we get a verbal agreement to start this? And bear in mind, I was just making up the name, but I was serious about it. I said, can we get a verbal agreement from you? I turned around to the incumbents, and I said, can we get a verbal agreement to start a TR or NCR 4949-help? That's what's going to be called. Anyway, I said, let's call it the Mvskoke City, because we were in Mvskoke. I said, can we get a bill passed or started on its way to get pushed through, where we all have a emotional support pet on the tribal grounds, or at least access to one, and we can call it the Wellness Center of the Clans. And basically, what it would be is a facility. You know, if we all claim to be from a clan, you know what I'm saying, even the win, you know, go to this center and spend a time. An employee can spend their lunch with an animal that maybe of their clan, or even for the folks that who ain't got a clan or think they don't have a clan, they can go there and just have some of that, you know, emotional pet support that, you know, the state calls it that. You know, when you see a person come into the store or Walmart or whatever, they got a little dog. Well, they have to have a license for that, but you can get them. You know what I'm saying? But we should have our own facility that nurtures that relationship for workers and for anybody. You can be polka dot. Come through there. I mean, tourism, recreation. Hey, you know, hey, we got this wellness center. people love animals, and where we could do it, Now I'll say this, yeah, people, let's start pushing it through from the internet side, from the Facebook side. Let's get it pushed through. We can start this at the old country club.
Okay.
They're right there in Omogi. We got more than enough room. And I don't want to hear nothing about the councilman. Oh, we're going to put houses up there. You ain't done anything. They ain't done anything yet. It's waiting out there for the wellness thing. That's what I'm going to do. First day. And I'll have another one or two up my sleeve. Believe that. This ain't no joke to me.
Okay.
This is not. I'm ready to rock and roll, baby.
All right.
I'm ready to roll. And I'll do it from the platform of wellness and healing.
All right.
Next question.
We've had some clarification on the earlier question about the constitutional amendments. It looks like they're asking, first off, it looks like by blood citizenship in violation of Article 2 of the treaty. So I'm assuming that's they're asking what your stance on doing a constitutional amendment for admission of the freedmen, I guess is what that's referring to. What's your position on the freedmen issue?
Well, yeah, definitely something like that would take the people.
Well, that's the question he's asking is, would you as a councilman support the council initiating the constitutional vote on the amendment, on an amendment for that?
On the amendment, I mean, I'm just thinking because we're not there yet. So I kind of want to answer it like that.
Okay, that's fine. He has another one. The right to organize to join unions. What about a constitutional amendment on that? Would you support citizens voting on that?
I mean, no. Anyway, the answer to both questions is yeah.
Okay. And then he has one more: full citizenship for all citizens and same-sex marriage.
Sure. I mean, that's to me that's just inevitable.
Okay.
Through our kinship and our traditions, that's what we did.
Okay.
So big ups, man. Big ups to the Two-Spirited community, our counselors, our professionals, and they're at Creek Nation too, on those tribal grounds. So those people who got a problem with, they need to grow up and respect it. A human being, man.
We have another question. Do you support changing the official name of the tribe to Mvskoke, and that's the traditional spelling MVS? And that's a yes. I kind of cut into your.
Yes, I mean, or even we could go this route. I get it. But didn't Mr. Deere back in the 70s say, even before we were Mvskoke, we were Mvskoke, the people who bear the herbs, who bring in the herbs, who bring in the medicine, baby. Yeah, Mvskoke. Yeah, but I get it. I'm good with Mvskoke for now.
All right.
Again, my black platform is wellness. We're gonna get there. Get me in the seat, man. We're gonna get to wellness, baby. We're gonna get to wellness, and we will live sovereignty. We will live sovereignty, baby.
All right. Well, we are at 30. We've gone to our 30-minute mark, and we don't really have much more time, but I'm going to give you a second. Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about real quick or anything before we sign out of here? Or actually, we had a question pop in right here. Let me see if it's one that we could ask. Would you work with...
Well, I just want, while you're figuring out...
Okay. Here we go.
That Julian, and my supporters... We are the solution, SOUL, Lucian, to the pollution in Tulsa.
All right.
So we need to pollution out of Tulsa.
Okay.
Julie, will you, with your vote, get the pollution out of Tulsa?
All right. Well, we had one more question pop up. I'm going to ask it real quick, and then we'll sign off. Would you work with Chief Hill's administration to move the nation in a positive forward momentum, or constantly vote no like Tiger and Jones just to block and impede progress?
I'm going to have some fire for them. I'm going to have some fire for under that chair, them soxos. You know, so I'm gonna no, I'll be a team. I'm a team player, and you know when we have success, we all need to celebrate that, and you know everybody needs to celebrate. You know, we haven't even had a welcome, man. As far as, hey, Chief, we need to have a welcome. Second Chief, we need to have a welcome. Welcome everybody to the res here in Oklahoma. One of my supporters said, listen, we need to take some of those signs, those ugly campaign signs that all y'all got, but we need to make those signs and put them all around our jurisdiction and say welcome. With big hugs, big kisses, because we do got to be nice. We should at least try to be nice about some of these things. We talk about fighting. But you know what? Our kinship, the biggest part of our resilience is love. Is love and support. And being nice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we that's in our genes. Hey, we gotta at least practice that. And if they're and yeah, it'd be nice to stick in the beginning. If he ain't willing to accept that niceness and really honestly work with this, then yeah, we'll deal with it as a council and a people.
Well, I think that's a great sentiment to wrap up on here, and I appreciate you so much, sir, for joining us tonight.
Thank y'all.
For the race that you are in, we will probably have a runoff on the after September. So we are going to reach out to all the candidates to try to do another forum between the September election and the November election. So we'll be getting in touch with you. For the audience, thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to keep doing what we're doing here with these candidate interviews, and just because they're probably going to be from this set for the foreseeable future until we get our studio air conditioner repaired. So thanks for tuning in, and Julian, thanks for joining us. And we're going to sign off for tonight because we're a little bit after the limit. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap out?
Oh, just love and respect. REZPECT.
All right. Thanks a lot. Mado.
All right. Nga. Oh, this last thing. Yeah. Iyagadijit.